Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, we've had some dev notes and patch updates for the Pioneer test server over in Discord. Now, they only put this on the Pioneer test server Discord. It didn't happen in-game. That's why I'm going to have Discord screenshots brought up because the stuff is way too small in Discord. Now, I will be testing this a bunch tomorrow. It's just super late. I've been out and I just got back and I wanted to cover this for you guys because we have been paying close attention to these Paragon changes. So they have made adjustments to the Paragon changes, which I absolutely love to see because they were just a bit out of hand, and they've gone and done a bit of a dev notes to let us know what they were thinking and the intention behind it. But I do still think that having this test server and having the Pioneer server, so any changes like this, they can give us the resources, we can test it, and then we can come to conclusions and leave feedback, is a fantastic system as opposed to just dropping it in the game and then everyone getting absolutely destroyed by it. So when we do cover these things, it is obviously some things look crazy, but at least we know they are willing to change things, and this all happens and gets changed. Well, hopefully all gets resolved before it comes to global servers, and that is the great thing about the test servers. So let's jump in and check out Rivalry stats adjustment. And if you want more context, I'll leave a link to the previous two videos in the description. We have reverted the six rivalry stats for Paragon heroes: damage boost, damage reduction, energy regen reduction, energy on hit, debuff focus, and resilience to their original values from the current global build. The inspiration and intimidation stats have been reduced. Please check the in-game values for details. You will be able to increase the rivalry stats for Celestial and Hypergean heroes after upgrading them to Supreme Plus. The boosted stats for Celestial and Hypergean heroes upgraded to Paragon +4 will now align with those of Paragon +4 heroes of other factions. Remark: rivalry stat bonuses from Paragon tiers apply exclusively to PvP battles such as Arena, Supreme Arena, and Supreme Arena. These bonuses do not affect PvE modes or PvE ranking modes, including Dream Realm, Ravage Realm, AFK stages, and Jurus Trials. So basically what they've done is they've gotten rid of the extra boost to those base rivalry stats that we already had, and they've reduced the value of the inspiration and intimidation. Now, what inspiration and intimidation were, they were the ones that affected healing, shielding, energy recovery, and buff values. And those were absolutely broken because they were new stats stacked on top with buffs to the other stats, which just made it absolutely cracked. Now, once again, I will do more testing on this tomorrow, let you guys know my thoughts, but I want to jump over here and take a look at their dev notes, the sort of explanation of what's happened. So, explanation of recent adjustments. After reviewing data from previous versions, we observed that rivalry stats provided by Paragon tiers are not equally beneficial for all heroes. For instance, heroes like Damien and Smokey and Mickey see minimal improvement from these upgrades, which is definitely a true point, and it kind of makes me understand what they were trying to do with the new stat, because when you look at damage boost, not really too vital to them. Damage reduction, obviously a little bit. The energy on hit related things, they're not hitting anyone really, so you don't really have the effectiveness of that. And they don't really do mass debuffs, so they're not getting affected by that either. So they don't really have any stats that affect them. So I think they were trying to implement stats that would help those support heroes so that they have there's an incentive to actually take them to Paragon. Otherwise, there was no incentive. But let's just keep going. But for instance, heroes like Damien, Smokey, Mickey, yada yada yada. As a result, the difficulty of advancing their Paragon tiers does not align with the benefits they gain. To address this imbalance, we introduced two new stats, inspiration and intimidation, enabling support heroes to benefit more from rivalry stats, increasing at higher Paragon levels. I think it's also the problem with the stacking of them with each hero that you have. It's just like you saw in that testing that I did, it became ridiculous. We understand that the stat adjustments require careful handling. Therefore, these changes were first tested on the Pioneer server to refine the details and ensure balance before moving to the official server. Once again, I think this is a brilliant thing for them to do, and the way they knew that this was a change and they gave us the resources, and each day they were giving us more resources to up the Paragons. I think it is a really good system to test something out, because at the end of the day, that's why you have a test server, to test it, because you're not too sure on things. So I do think it is a good system, and we caught something and it is getting fixed. Resources were provided to allow players to experience and test these adjusted Paragon mechanics. At the same time, our dev team also conducted several rounds of internal tests and analysis. However, based on feedback from Pioneer server testers, we realized that the Rivalry stats adjustment risked disrupting the balance in modes like Arena, significantly impacting gameplay. Additionally, we understand the community's concern about how this could amplify the pay-to-win perception. This was never our intention. Our goal for modes like Arena has always been to promote competition through strategic gameplay and smart hero combinations, allowing players to bridge hero tier gaps without depending solely on raw stats. In the game, heroes from the Celestial and Hypergean factions are inherently harder to progress due to their higher resource demands. The introduction of the new Inspiration and Intimidation stats in version 1.3.1 has further magnified the influence of tier gaps in modes like Arena and other competitive gameplay. Let me scroll down. To ensure fairer matchups and allow heroes with similar progression difficulties to compete on a more equal footing, we have adjusted the rivalry stats of Celestial and Hypergean heroes. In light of these findings, we have decided to reverse the rivalry stat values provided by Paragon tiers. We recognize that this test cycle raised concerns about the game's development direction, and we sincerely apologize for the confusion. Moving forward, we will approach future adjustments with greater caution. Pioneer server testing will remain a key part of our process, and we deeply appreciate your understanding and patience as we refine new features. Your feedback is vital to the process, and we will continue to monitor and incorporate your suggestions to enhance the gameplay before official release. So that, honestly, I think it does make sense on... Like, supports felt shit with rivalry stats, so their Paragons didn't really feel worth it, and that's what they were trying to do. But the problem is when you give them those stats, but you're also giving it to everyone else, and the problem, like, I think it's just the weighting of them. So once again, they have reduced them. We'll jump in, we'll do some more testing, we'll see where it's at tomorrow. But at least they have been paying attention. There was a lot of noise. Like, I mean, anything, like the amount of messages I had about this, the amount of Reddit posts I saw about it is quite ridiculous. So it was definitely something that they put out, and players let them know the feedback, and they've received the feedback, and now we're going to get some adjustments. But we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. But like I said, it was just too much. Like, that's all I can say. I understand that representation of the support heroes didn't feel like they were worth it with their Paragons, but I think it was just completely overtuned with the new stats on the way they increase your healing, but also decrease the enemy's healing. And then if you have 5 of them and they have none, like, it just amplifies even further. It's just ridiculous. Like, it was just way too much, because then you're also getting energy regen and buffs, which then some DPS who already heavily benefit from the other stats are then getting that energy regen and getting the additional boost as well. It's just too much. But that's where we're at. They understand it. They're adjusting it. And once again, the great thing is that this is all on the Pioneer server, and we have another week-ish until it goes on to global. So hopefully we can iron this out and get something balanced that works, where there's now purpose for Paragons into those heroes, because I do think that is an important thing to assess and, weigh into the conversation. But then also that it doesn't break the balance from the state that it was previously in. I think that's a very important thing, because this is not like a new power creep function. Like when I think about AFK Arena, I think about the introduction of furniture, engraving, stuff like that. It's not a new system. It's just saying, like, boom, stats have changed. it's completely different. And I think you've really got to do minor increments on that to make it fully balanced. But once again, that is what they've put out in the dev notes. Once again, this was just over on the Discord. They didn't put it in game or anything like that. So sorry for it being a bit blurry because I had to amplify it up. But let me know what you guys think. Once again, I will come back with more numbers and testing tomorrow. But as always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.